Hello, and welcome to Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
I'm one of your hosts, Madelyn.
I'm your other host, Emma.
And we're here for you today with a super hot July sweltering sun side quest edition.
Wow, that was pretty impressive.
There was some good alliteration in there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I thought so anyway. Listeners, little known fact. To give you the sound quality that you deserve, I have to turn off my fan and my window unit air conditioner while Emma and I record the show. So if you hear dripping, it's my sweat.
It's called Suffering for Your Art, Malin. I thought you would be familiar with it by now.
Look it up. It's called Podcasting in a Sauna.
The new hot trend. The new challenge
Literally.
video.
The new challenge. I was just talking about planking today.
Oh, gosh.
You remember planking?
Yeah, I do.
What a time.
What a time.
Something that the internet did.
I feel like every 3 years or so, we just have to look back at what the internet was doing and just go, what a time, and then try not to think about it too much more.
Exactly. Well, that's, not necessarily. I look back at Vine and I'm like, there's some funny Vines.
There are also some not very funny Vines.
That's the truth. I was just showing people today, if you've seen the TikTok where folks, we'll get to the show in a minute. Emma and I are just catching up here. Have you seen the TikTok where it's to Adele's Someone Like You and it's the gummy bears?
No.
Okay. Listeners, some of you have seen it. You know what I'm talking about. I'll send it to you after the show. Anyway, hey, it's a side quest where we've got our little news magazine format where we have a bunch of different segments for you. So we'll talk about our saved data, aka what we've been playing lately. We'll talk about our question of the fortnight. This is out of order, just so you know. Our traffic report, our weather report, and our off-topic corner. I think I managed to put it so that everything but saved data was in the wrong order. So if you're new to the show, it's going to be a grab bag of fun. If not, you know the order by now, and you're just saying, oh, Madelyn, you silly goose.
I think that's what they're all saying.
My goose is cooked here in my apartment. Anyway, hey Emma, what have you been playing the last 2 weeks?
Well, why don't you start? Because I feel like you were telling me that you haven't had a lot of time for stuff lately.
Great, here's mine, Big Fat Zero. Don't think I played anything the last 2 weeks.
Really? Nothing? Well, I guess you were in San Diego.
I was in San Diego for more than 50% of the 2 weeks, so that definitely played a role in me not gaming. We do have, because it's Sunday at noon, I have probably played one of Clickbait Boyfriend's friends is sleeping in our kitchen, not tonight, but you know what I mean, listeners, right? So probably when they returned from getting either dessert or a drink, we probably played some 3-player Crash Team Racing on my TV.
It's weird that you just aren't so certain about this. Or did you just, have a wild night? Because we do this live at noon on Sundays, Malin.
You're right. So I'm just trying to preserve an element of mystery about my life. I don't want people to feel like they know me too well.
Right.
Probably I got some, eye strain from how teeny tiny my television is.
Glamorous.
Yeah. Well, the life of a podcaster, people. It's not always easy. As Emma said, sometimes we have to suffer for our art.
It's true.
I probably also thought about buying Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I'm really torn about whether to buy it now or to wait for it to be cheaper.
It's a full $60 game.
I know. I was hoping, I got an email from Nintendo about it on Friday saying, buy now, because they have me pegged, I guess. And I thought about it, and I clicked on it really hoping it was going to be a $40 game, and it was not.
Yeah.
So yeah. I didn't even finish Assassin's Creed, as I promised to. I think I said on the air that I was going to do it, and then, I didn't.
Your credibility has taken a hit.
Yeah. Well, clearly. I'm very reliable. Everything I say on the air is always 100% true.
That's what I thought. But now I know that I was wrong.
Anyway, let's talk about what you've been playing instead of the things I've been thinking about playing before I start talking about, Clickbait Boyfriend and his experiences these past 2 weeks.
Well, despite my 15 thoughts in 15 hours coming out yesterday. I am actually about 40 hours into Judgment.
Emma, you're making us out to be like liars. Like,
I
Madelyn said she'd play Assassin's Creed and she didn't. I'm saying it's 15 hours, but it's really 47.
I wrote out the 15 thoughts within like 17 hours of playing, right? I had the base for them. It's just that I couldn't stop playing and just work on the blog because I wanted to keep playing Judgment for 40 hours.
Are you best friends with the CEO of Ikinari Steak yet?
We're best friends. I am best friends with 42 people in the city.
How?
Because I'm just a witty guy.
That's Champ McDude. You can't take that from him.
He is really embodying the Champ McDude.
I walked by another Ikinari Steak today that was closed, but this one had a sign that said Ikinari Steak from Japan.
Wow.
In case you were
glad for the clarification. But no, it's got similar themes as Persona 5, about the legal system, how messed up it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's really, like, it's not that the Yakuza games, like, don't have things to say, but it feels like Judgment is very overtly, like, commentating on social trends, like the aging population in Japan, the way the legal system works, the role of being a lawyer, being a prosecutor, and, like, lots of stuff, which is really, it's interesting, while also being really, really fun and kind of stupid sometimes. In the good way. The good stupid, to be clear.
Is what you're saying that games can be political?
I mean, I know that... You know what? Maybe that's what I'm saying.
Wow. Hot take, folks. You heard it here first. No one has ever said this before in the history of the industry.
Okay, so this is just like a small example that just like it doesn't necessarily tie into the other themes of the game, but I just thought it was interesting. So it's sort of an out of context spoiler, okay? But ever since I played through it, I've been thinking about it. And I saw another piece written about it as well. But there's this point where one of the prominent female characters in the game, you call her in to help with an investigation. She's going to infiltrate basically like a lady, like a club, and be like a hostess for a night. So in order to do that, you have to get her all dressed up in hostessy gear. So you buy her a dress, you do her hair and makeup and stuff. And they have like this whole like dress up thing that's a leftover from the Cabaret Club mini games in the Yakuza series, where you can dress up your hostesses, basically. So that's where they got the mechanic from. But once you're done with her makeup, it doesn't immediately give you like that dramatic reveal of like, oh wow, look at her, right? Instead, it puts you in her first person perspective as you walk over to where you're going to this club. And as you go, the people on the street, well, the very first one is just, hey, baby, smile for me. Oof. Somebody says to you. And it's just like, just these like offhand comments that you hear while you're following the character you normally play as on the way to this place where you're gonna do the investigation. And it's like, and then you get like that, oh wow, she looks great, because she does. She looked great.
Okay, I was gonna ask that, like, is she hot?
She really is, okay? I made her look great. Plus she just always looks great.
Wow, so you're saying the game wasn't made by a bunch of SJWs who hate attractive women?
No, it felt very aware of what attractive women, and even not attractive women, but when you get all dressed up, it should be nobody's business but your own, really, right? But it felt very aware of like what you were asking this girl to do in pursuing this investigation for you, which I thought it was interesting. There was a talk with, like, the localization director where he talked about, like that first line, the smile for me one, like, he said when he was localizing this scene, or she, I don't remember, actually, I apologize. When they were localizing the scene, they watched, like, that famous video of, like, the woman who recorded herself just walking, for ideas of, like, what's the Western equivalent of these lines, right? So, I thought that was interesting, too. But that's just, like, one thing it does. It's just, like, it's just good. It's just good. And it's got some good friends, some good bros. And I saw an edit with Final Fantasy 15 hair on 4 of the main characters, and it has ruined me forever.
I have a question.
Okay.
Why are all of these games about bros?
Well, I guess it's a legitimate question for this one, but, you know, they make the Yakuza games, right? So it kind of makes sense why all of those are about bros. Because that's just the subject matter.
I more mean, how long do I have to wait until I get a bro game that is about women?
That's true. If you know any good bro games about women, please let us know.
We really like our games to be about friendship.
We're really into bros. All genders of bros.
Yeah, bro is gender neutral. But
it's a good word for the dynamic, right? The bro dynamic.
Yeah.
We want it to extend outside the male bros.
I just think it would be neat.
It's true, it would be.
Have you been playing anything else, or literally just Judgment?
I've played 40 hours of Judgment.
Okay, I don't know. I just wanted to check. Did I tell you, speaking of, like, catcalling and being mean to women, did I tell you that Clickbait Boyfriend encountered capital G gamers, like, for real online for the first time?
For the first time?
Like, he was like, you know, I listened to your show, and I knew what you were talking about, but, like, I was on YouTube, and it, like, suggested this, like, Call of Duty video to me, and I looked at it, and it was just these guys just, like, tearing apart, like, some woman's, like, analysis of it or something, and he was like, I was shocked.
The poor, pure, innocent soul.
I know.
But yeah, it's just very hard to stop playing Judgment because it has such, like, a manageable to-do list, or it always feels like you always have, like, 3 or 4 things on your to-do list. So when you check something off, something, like, almost immediately pops back up to add to your to-do list. Right? But it never gets beyond, like, 4 at one time. But you just always have 4. So it always feels manageable, even though you've really done, like, 10 tasks in a play session. It just feels like, you know, you're always making progress and you're always doing things that you need to do.
You know, maybe I played a little near at the very beginning before I went to San Diego. Maybe. I keep saying went to San Diego, which makes it seem like I went to Comic-Con. I did not, people. I was in San Diego right up until Comic-Con began. Everyone in the airport was wearing pop culture t-shirts, but I pieced the heck out of there. And I found out that, so, like, Clickbait Boyfriend played some while I was, like, at work, I guess. And he is further in the main story than me, despite the fact that he has played, like, half the time.
Wow. Well, again, he's just done less
he just
exploring.
Doesn't care about the side quests.
That seems very
shocking to me.
That seems very out of character for him.
I know, out of character for the man who will not finish Breath of the Wild because he doesn't want it to end.
That's what I was thinking of.
So.
Well, glad to hear that.
Yeah. I'm sorry I don't have more gaming stuff to report. No doubt I do, because it has been incredibly warm. Have I mentioned that? In New York City this weekend? So no doubt I have played games that I have simply chosen not to share with you. So think about that, listeners. Think about that.
Baboom. Boom, boom.
Is that what cars sound like in Judgment?
No, that's the wind.
Is that what the wind sounds like in Judgment?
No. Cars in Judgment usually sound like when I drop somebody's body in front of it. Not like on purpose. They come to me, okay? And if I punch them and they end up in front of a car, that's not my fault.
You know, the legal system might have a different opinion, but hey, you've been playing the game, so you know better than me. It's the weather report. I got mixed up because you made sounds that sounded like cars.
It was weather. It was the
I know, but I was
thunder was the boom boom, the rain was the and the wind was woo woo. That's what it sounds like.
Listeners, I'm sure you got that.
It's been raining here a lot, so I know exactly what rain sounds like.
Fair enough. Anyway, listeners, you might remember that a few side quests ago, we did an episode that was very Twitter focused. It was all about all of the just garbage fire stuff that was happening on Twitter that week that we just couldn't avoid. And one of the things that didn't quite make it into that episode was talking about the 5-minute Pokemon challenge. We did ask our little sisters whether they thought they could draw Pokemon in 5 minutes on last week's side quest, and you heard their answers. But this has, I'm glad we waited. I mean, I'm glad and I'm not glad because now I have to talk about this. But this has escalated beyond what I was expecting from a beloved childhood video game.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, folks. Hashtag bring back the national dex is spreading like wildfire.
I'm just... I'm perfectly aware that I played the old Pokemons, and I've really not played very much since, I don't know, Crystal, that generation.
No, you played Sapphire.
I thought that was the same generation. So that says how attached I am to, the lore of Pokemon, or whatever. But I just don't get it. I don't understand why people are upset. I wasn't even, to be fair, I wasn't even aware you could, import your old Pokemon into new Pokemon games at all. So
I'm a little bit more plugged into this, mostly because at some point I watched a series of YouTube videos that were about how hard it is to catch them all in, the various generations of games.
Mm-hmm.
It is truly astonishing. I mean, great job, Game Freak, on coming up with this incredible cash cow where you need to own, 7 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I get some of the, grumpiness about it, because there's now, the Pokemon Home, right, where you can transfer all of these different Pokemon from the Virtual Console, and they're on there, and people have presumably been working on that for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get feeling grumpy about it, but, I don't know. How long did you think it was going to be able to go on?
Mm-hmm.
Where they were going to be able to do it forever. Of thousands and thousands of Pokemon. I know it's not that many, but it would have been eventually.
I mean, I think the issue is just, and it's not even necessarily an issue, right? The average person who plays video games doesn't know how a video game is made.
Yes.
And that's not necessarily a problem as long as you're not, spewing your hot takes on Twitter without knowing how a game is made.
But that's what Twitter is for.
I know. That's the issue. It's compounded by the fact that we now have this very easy place where you can just spew your random thoughts without any backup or research, and people will just take it and believe it, right? It's just I saw, and this doesn't even necessarily have to do with the national dex, but it's a bit related. So, one of the justifications for why they can't do it is just the sheer scope of animations they would have to implement.
Mm-hmm.
And so somebody, showed, one of the human characters doing an animation that was also in Sun and Moon. And it's yes. Games recycle their animations, but it takes work to move an animation to a new rig still. So it's not just, they're copy-pasting it and it takes 2 seconds. It's that they don't have to make something from scratch, but it probably still takes a significant portion of a day.
And there was this semi-viral clip of, a fan rip of, the Pokken tournament animations that they then put onto something else that, I guess looked pretty good. And everyone was like, see, if these, passionate fans can do it. And it's one, they, stole, these are existing animations that they took.
Mm-hmm.
Two, calm the F down. It's also, I also read something that said in the third generation, the Ruby Sapphire Emerald generation, you were not immediately able to catch all of the Pokemon that had previously existed.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they were coded in, so you were always going to be able to, but in the age of DLC, there's no reason that they're not going to be able to eventually add these Pokemon if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Which, that's mostly why I think it's silly. It's like, you think Nintendo doesn't have plans to eventually phase in at least more Pokemon? Like, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Game Freak, I guess, but whatever. I'm gonna jump back and forth because my brain is melting. But, like, obviously, eventually they're gonna release that, third companion game in, like, a year and a half, or whatever.
Pokemon Gun.
Pokemon Gun is gonna come out that is gonna just, like, inject all of the other Pokemon into it, or whatever. They'll get the Switch Virtual Console, we'll have the other, like, they will figure out a way to get these other Pokemon in. Just might not launch right away. Are we freaking used to, in these games, having to jump through impossible hoops to get them all? I mean, I would honestly I said get them all. Catch them all. How could I possibly say get them all? What is wrong with you, Madelyn? Pull it together. But, like, aren't we used to the fact that you have to own, like, 20 million games to get all these Pokemon? That's just the rule.
Yeah.
Wait a couple years, people.
Yeah.
Plus, what percentage of players do you think ever frickin' catch them all?
Not very many. That's also why I'm like, why are you so upset? Like, are you gonna catch them all? You really gonna catch them all? I don't think so. And it's also like, and it's not that we shouldn't hold games for kids to high standards, right? But it's a game for kids. Like, adults can play it. It's like, Pixar movies.
See,
Sort
though,
of.
but I think that both this and Pixar movies are now at the stage where they have existed, and for about the same amount of time now, right? They've existed long enough that they have too many adult fans to really try to pull the "this is a game for kids" card.
Well, they haven't. To be fair, I'm doing that.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like that's not quite a fair critique. The vast majority of people buying this game, I don't really think are going to be children. Or even, like, buying it for children. To be honest.
I would want to see some stats for that.
I'm making that up, but I can't imagine it's overwhelmingly children who are going to buy this game.
I would say, wait, that's a statement that needs research to back it up.
True.
Because we're very, like, in our own perspective, and, like, we're going to buy Pokemon, so all adults are going to buy Pokemon or whatever.
I know,
so
but
I think that's something that you cannot just say.
No, that's valid. Here's what I'll say. I feel much more comfortable saying that there's a larger proportion of adults who are going to buy this one than bought, probably any, that each successive generation of Pokemon was probably purchased by more adults.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like that feels fair. Even if they're still dwarfed by children. People who are going to be loud and annoying on Twitter are the adults.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are mad because they're like, what if my favorite Pokemon's not in it? And it's like, what percentage of people have a favorite Pokemon that isn't from the original set? And how many of those people won't replace it with the electric corgi Pokemon?
That's just you, Madelyn.
It's so cute. Everybody loves it.
Of course they do. Before we move on, I realized, like, halfway through, and it started distracting me, but I remembered a Judgment side quest that I think I sent you a screenshot of that has a bit of a pun. So if you want to know, you can see my 15 thoughts in 15 hours, but that's just been, like, in my brain.
Emma, it's not the traffic report yet.
I'm sorry.
Cool your
I skipped
jets.
ahead. I'm cooling them.
Hey, so speaking of electric Pokemon, settle on in, folks. Turn off Twitter. You can do it. Put it down. It doesn't belong here. Good. Put it down. Good. Put it down. Nice. Because here we are, safe and cozy, in our nice air-conditioned off-topic corner. So the time finally came, folks. After a tragic beach accident involving a stingray, clickbait boyfriend found himself unable to ambulate, even though we didn't have to take an ambulance, thank goodness, but unable to walk like a normal human while on our vacation, leaving us with 2 days where we did pretty much nothing but watch television. And the television that we decided to watch, finally, was that I introduced him to My Hero Academia.
I'm still a little surprised that you didn't initially go for Boys Over Flowers.
I know. I thought about it. I really weighed the options. I was worried he would get too into Boys Over Flowers.
True.
Deeply worried. Maybe he'd get obsessed.
So if you don't read our split screen series, it's kind of like our extended off-topic corner over on the blog. And we're watching the K-drama Boys Over Flowers and the anime My Hero Academia. And the latter was something that I had already watched that I suggested Madelyn get into. And now Madelyn has passed on the My Hero Academia nitpicking to Clickbait Boyfriend.
Yeah, who is having some of the same reactions that I've had.
Which I do not believe he came to them naturally. I just don't.
I was really careful not to say anything, and much to my chagrin, he doesn't really read split screen, so he couldn't have come up with it that way either.
Suspicious.
You know who else is suspicious? Frickin' police officer.
Ah, poor Sukauchi. He's just
fault.
trying to do his job.
He's suspicious. I can't do it. I can't sing a song, but you know what I was going to do. It's suspicious, but it's the tune of Tradition from Fiddler, even though that's not what I'm trying to do. That's always what I do.
And Suspicious is this original song we saw at a high school musical that was written by a high schooler.
No, wasn't it from Edwin? I thought it was from Edwin Drood, but now that I say that...
Maybe I wasn't Edmund Drood written by a high schooler?
No!
What was the one that we saw that was written?
Live It Up.
Live It Up, right.
I still know, I can hear that song in my head still.
Maybe some other off-topic corner will go into our illustrious high school theater watching background. But based on the theme of Clickbait Boyfriend watching My Hero Academia, I was thinking just about like the weird experience of like watching shows that you've already watched with somebody who hasn't watched them before. I thought that'd be an interesting point of discussion.
It's basically exclusively how Clickbait Boyfriend and I watch television. We started out our TV watching career of trading off seasons of Gilmore Girls and Dexter. You can guess who had watched which show first. And we just had the great experience of me sharing Queer Eye with him, which I thought he would like maybe think was amusing, but he has now taken the he's like revamping his wardrobe. He's like considering whether he should be like doing like I've gotten him to do face masks with me.
He's throwing out his capris.
I think Dan is 100% wrong on capris. So, you can fight me.
I'm always like, when I'm introducing a show, I feel like I have like go-to shows that aren't necessarily my favorites, but that I'm like, oh, like this is like a safe option that I enjoy and that people might enjoy and that I would like seeing people enjoy, or wouldn't mind too terribly if they didn't enjoy it, right?
See, that's
like,
what's hard for me, is because I want to preach the gospel of Agretzko to everyone I know, because I think everyone I know would enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I would be devastated if someone didn't enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really have those, like, things, and not just shows, like, everything, right? Where I'm like, I don't know if I could respect you anymore if you didn't enjoy this. Or even just beyond, like, oh, man, that would feel like it would hurt my heart if they didn't like it.
Yeah.
Even shows where I'm like, or, you know, like, Kingdom Hearts is good, right? And this is getting back on topic, right? Like, it's just a good game series. That's objective fact. But it's also, like, so kind of personally important to me. So, like, I feel weird recommending it because, like, I'm aware that the reasons I like it, or some of the reasons I like it, are so exclusive to me, right? And so it's like, especially the first few episodes of a show. Like, I feel like when you were watching My Hero Academia, and even that one's like, I wouldn't have super minded if you didn't like it. But, like, you look over and you're like, are they enjoying it?
Yeah. Well, that's why it was so scary to start Clickbait Boyfriend. Because I was really... Yeah. I still don't really believe that he likes the games. Like, I still think it's kind of an elaborate ruse he's pulling off to, like, sustain our relationship. 2 years later. Yeah, I don't watch that much television with anyone but you or Josh. So it's kind of like, it's kind of hard to be like, what would I share with people? I guess my big recommendation right now to you viewers is that you need to watch Rolakama and Kaoru. It's so cute.
She's been pressuring me about it too.
So cute. They're so precious. Why don't I have a Rolakama?
I don't know.
There's not space for it.
You could buy one.
But no, it has to be real.
It has to be alive.
I won't be hurt if you don't like it. I said to the viewers, didn't I?
Yeah.
Man. I won't be hurt if you don't like it, listeners. It feels a little weird. It feels a little bit like a children's show most of the time, with just some doses of adult existential realness. But you will fall in love with Rolakama, because I did. Don't even think about, like, don't worry about the ghost episode. That one was a little weird.
What?
The rest of it was really quite good. Ghost one, kind of hard to parse what was going on. Okay,
I'll look for that one when I give it a watch.
Emma, you have to watch the rest. They're only like 12-minute episodes.
I know, I will. I'm very busy playing Judgment right now.
It's like a Gretzko, but very soft. Very soft.
I understand.
But hey, listeners, I do need to tell. I was really second guessing myself as to whether listeners was correct there. I need TV recommendations. I mean, we're gonna watch the new season of Queer Eye here, and we're gonna watch. We've got, I guess, about a season left of My Hero before I have to put Clickbait Boyfriend on the same watching rationing that Emma and I are on. But tell me if there are things that I should watch. Miss me with the really prestige TV, though. I don't really feel like I have I don't even know for that.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it, too.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, Mad Men. I'm like, oh, Mad Men.
That's one that Clickbait Boyfriend is occasionally suggesting that we watch, because he's watched it, and I'm just like, it's going to be so slow.
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you hear those sirens in the distance, people? Because I do. They're real, but...
That's the sound of the wind, Val.
Oh my god. You set me up for failure. It's the traffic report.
Yeah, here we are.
Alright, I've got a little off schedule with Clickbait Boyfriend, not on purpose, but did I mention that he got hit by a stingray? So I've been a little bit busy dealing with poor injured bait boyfriend. But in the last 2 weeks on the blog, we do have some good content. We have 10 thoughts in 10 hours. My Crash Team Racing nitro-fueled thoughts. Super good. Spoiler, I like it. Also features me in an Uka Uka mask and, tangentially, Emma as a witch.
Yeah.
I couldn't crop you out. She's just there. You'll recognize her, maybe. I mean, I said you'll recognize her as if any of you think that much about what we look like.
We have sort of current photos up on the website, but I don't know how many people have actually looked at that.
Right. So, hey, that's Emma in the back. She still looks sort of like that. The facial fundamentals are still pretty much the same.
Yeah.
I don't still look like Uka Uka, but,
Thank God.
And there's also an excellent edition of Split Screen featuring a great edit from Emma. Great
Thank
photo
you very
edit.
much.
There's a clickbait boyfriend coming soon. It's been almost ready for a while. I just keep having things that get in the way, and like I was on vacation, so beach, 45 minutes of beach. Emma, anything else coming soon from you? 40. I almost said 40 thoughts in 40 hours, which is not right.
No, 15 thoughts in 15 hours on Judgment came out yesterday. Play This has been kind of delayed, because I've been playing Judgment. No, not just because
of God.
Just because of reasons. I just haven't had time for it right now. But once this month is over, I'm going to try coming up with a couple of script ideas and see what seems to work. So we'll get back to it eventually.
Whenever Emma's not playing Judgment, she's interviewing for a job.
Yeah, that's basically how it's going, yeah.
So.
On Judgment, you can, date girls. And one of the girls was like, can I do a practice interview with you? And I was like,
absolutely not.
Dear God, no.
I don't deserve this.
She's like, you can just set up dates and then go whenever because time doesn't exist in the side stuff of Judgment. And so it's just been sitting there and I've been avoiding it because I can't deal with that crap right now, Tsukito. Can't do it.
Someday you'll be ready for it. Anyway, that's the blog, which you can find at www.talkthispodcast.com/blog. Lots of good stuff coming in the next 2 weeks as it gets really hot and I cease to leave my apartment and I have nothing to do but write blogs about video games. Just trying to mention that it's hot in every single segment, just in case you forgot. Update, it's still hot.
It's not the weather report, Malin. Let's go.
Anyway, you know what else is hot? Our social media. You should follow us at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where we're Talk This Podcast. And you should subscribe to us on YouTube, where we're Talk This Sisters, where you can watch all the Play This series. We've hidden some of the clickbait boyfriend content because I'd like for him to get a job someday. And, there's just a lot of space on our channel. But hey, if you're missing any of them, they're still on the blog posts. Or just shoot us an email and be like, where's this particular clickbait boyfriend? And I'll send you the direct link. We always post when our blogs go up on social media. Sometimes we share other fun stuff. Probably I should have talked about that Slate article that made me so angry on this week's side quest, but I'm glad I didn't. But our social media is a fun time. You should check it out. You should check out the rest of our website, talkthispodcast.com. You can read about us. You can compare that picture on the Crash Team Racing blog to Emma's current picture and see if I'm right that her cheekbones look the same. And learn about the show and the games in the hat. And you all know this. I'm doing the same spiel. You know the dealio. But hey, in case you don't know the dealio, you should subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode recorded live, asterisks, on Sundays at noon. You can find us on any of your preferred podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Overcast, Spotify, Pandora Podcasts on the app. Did you see I threw an Overcast this time? Noticed that some people were listening on Overcast. Didn't want them to feel neglected. Maybe they were feeling hip and I ruined it. Sorry, Overcast listeners. But subscribe to us on there, share our podcast far and wide with your friends, leave a rating or a review. We really appreciate it. And that's the traffic report. Which brings us to our question of the fortnight.
What is our question of the fortnight, Mal?
So in honor of San Diego Comic-Con, the 50th anniversary, they had endgame street lamp posters up all over the city to celebrate. Going on right now, right? It's still going on. It's Sunday.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, we may have asked this before, but I think it's always an interesting question. If you were going to go to a con in a cosplay, what would you go as and why?
It's a difficult question.
It is. You can have multiple answers.
I can have multiple answers. Well, I mean, I'm just trying to think of my favorites because that feels like what I would go as. And Kitty Pryde is my favorite X-Man, right? So that's a possibility.
She doesn't have a very distinctive costume that I can recall to mind, though.
Yeah, it's just kind of the X-Men outfit and the ponytail, right?
Yeah.
So at least it would be easy, right?
That's true.
It's like those cosplayers that just go in the My Hero Academia sports festival uniforms.
Who are you? Anybody.
Sports festival guy.
I would go as a dual Zuko Todoroki costume.
That would be pretty cool, actually. I wonder if anybody's done that.
Probably.
Feels like they must
natural.
have. Feels like that kind of idea that somebody would come up with and do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the issue is I don't even really know, like, what do people dress as Comic-Con? At Comic-Con?
You got that?
Like, what are the themes? Like, superheroes?
Yep.
But beyond superheroes, what else do you go as?
Game characters?
Do you do that at Comic-Con?
Sure.
Like, what are the panels at Comic-Con?
Well, there's one that seems to be teasing some kind of a community reboot. Did you see this?
No, I didn't. But see, like, it feels like it's sort of such a wide scope of,
Yeah,
like,
so you can go as anything you
nerd
want.
culture. Yeah, but that makes it hard to choose, right? Which is why I was asking for themes.
I would go as Relakama. No, that'd be way too hot. That'd be miserable in July. No, it was nice in San Diego. It was really nice. It's making New York much harder because the weather was so nice.
Honestly, you and Josh should do, like, a Retsuko Haida costume. Pair costume.
One day.
And not like the human versions of them. I just mean, like, you should make masks.
Yeah.
And dress up like real
Haida
mascots.
is kind of dumb. He's like, why does everybody love Haida so much? Like, he's fine.
Well, then he can go as Donkey Man.
You'll appreciate this. All week leading up to our vacation, then on our vacation, we kept saying to each other, yeah, we deserve a vacation. Just like over and over again. Put it on my Instagram too. Nobody got it, but that's okay.
It's good. That's good.
Yeah.
But
no,
maybe you should instead go as Mr. Tone and the little weasel guy.
Yeah. Only now we love... Oh my god, all their names are escaping me. This is so embarrassing. I do know their names. We love the hippo now.
Oh, I can't remember her name either.
But
you could just go as the hippo and her hippo husband.
I could go as Tone and Mrs. Tone and the Tonettes.
Go as the Tonettes. Yes, that's good.
Absolutely not. That's a hard no. Maybe we'll go as Axel and Kirishima.
Stop it.
That was literally his first comment on My Hero Academia. He was like, why is Axel in it?
I hate him. I hate you both, honestly.
I know. It's fine. I've accepted it. I'm trying to think of what else would be, like, super ridiculous and fun. Going as Groot.
That would be... Yeah. That would just be awful, though. To just, like, have to walk around as... Like, getting it set up, walking around as Groot, taking it off. It would all be awful.
Carried around.
Yeah. Yeah, go as the baby Groot.
Exactly.
Shrink yourself.
Thanks.
And go as baby Groot.
That would be really cute if you had a baby.
That would be cute.
Like a baby Groot. And then you could be like, I could be Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah. Really big Rocket Raccoon.
Look, he got a little fat, okay? Calm down.
More like he got a little tall.
Whatever. Don't body shame me. Sorry, I'm too tall for an effective Rocket Raccoon.
Anyway, listeners, what would you go as if you had to pick a costume to wear to Comic-Con? And enlighten us. Send us pictures of what people wear at Comic-Con so that we can have a more informed answer next time. We don't go to cons very often.
I would go as Lizard Cloud.
You are Lizard Cloud already. So
I know.
You don't have to dress up.
Stan is the only villain who's
what
worthy.
The Uka Uka mask is hiding. It's her lizard face. And her purple hair.
It's true. It's tough to go around every day hiding the lizard within. And yet, onward I go. Ships against the tide.
So next week, look forward to us talking about SSX and Greece. Gris. Still need to look up how to say that.
Grease Gris.
Gris.
Grace. Grizz.
Grizz. I promise I will look up how to say it, unless I am too busy playing Judgment.
Which is a live possibility, like 50-50.
It's 45-55.
Would you cosplay as the guy from Judgment? That's a no, I guess.
I'm thinking about it. I don't think it'd be very convincing. I would not be a very convincing Yagami, I feel like.
You and I could go as 2B and 9S.
There you go.
Wouldn't that be weird?
That would be very weird.
I don't know if they have a romance or anything. I hope that I didn't just, like, step in poop there.
You can cosplay as anything. It's fine.
I know.
We
could go as the two sisters from Wolfenstein.
There you go. Yeah. We can.
And everyone will be like, great cosplay. And we'll be like, not a cosplay. We're sisters.
Okay. Look forward to next week. Do you wanna give the sign off, Madelyn?
Yeah. Folks, I hope you have a week where your Twitter presence is cool and your cosplay is piping hot.